99.3 Nigeria Info.
.3 Nigeria Info. Good morning to you, Lagos, Nigeria. Welcome to the show. We're live from our studios this Wednesday morning. I am Sharif Quadry.
And I'm Jimi Disu. Good morning.
You can watch us on Facebook and on YouTube. Nigeria Info 99.3 is how you can watch the show. Righty, let's start with the Vanguard. Let's start with this story in the Vanguard newspaper. It's a full-page story on the politics page. It reads, Assembly leadership crisis, bid to oust Obasanjo's successor hits brick wall.
Yes. Like we say downtown, our lawmakers, Yari dead.
Yari dead.
Yari dead. And there's not much improvement. There's not much to say, really. The crisis of yesterday, of the day before, continued yesterday with the lawmakers not just digging deeply, even some elders of the party now, and some outside the party who feel concerned about Lagos affairs. Everybody has now dug in with a position. One thing I'm going to talk about now, I will with some. Sorry about that. We had a technical hitch. So, yes, I said that the lawmakers have dug in. Other politicians have dug in. As of yesterday, I got it on good authority that some top members of the party who are neither lawmakers nor GAC or whatever, even want to write, they want to write letters to the leadership of the party and so on and so forth. What we are seeing is a kind of move for independence for various reasons. And I think I touched on one or two things there. The other thing that has crept in, which most people haven't touched on, is the issue of indigenship. Maybe Governor Solulu was born as a Lagos boy, yes, but when it comes to this indigenship thing, it stretches a bit further. The speaker is from a royal family. It's a full-fledged indigene, and that is not to be taken for granted, because the indigenes who had been craving all along for a better presence at that level. Remember, Obasa had been accused, rightly or wrongly, I don't know, I don't get involved in things like that, but I have to do this job. I'm trying to make an indigene claim to Lagos and so on and so forth. That thing is always going on in the political circles, and you will always have it in any community like ours. So the indigenes now have racked up, the Obas too, some of the Obas, because she's a princess. She's a princess, have also joined the fray. The president himself, I'm sure, will be seriously worried that they said, I didn't say he did, that he described it as a coup against his authority. And there was an attempt here to get some members of the legislature to write a letter of apology. And I found that a bit odd, and I hope that they don't do that. They are independent. You don't write, you can apologize verbally, but to put down the letter of apology to the leader of the party that you're independent. That's why you have the House. They have their rules. And they should be seen to be independent. So, three options we hear were discussed yesterday. Three options were on the table: retaining Miranda, reinstating Obasa, or getting both of them to stand down and elect a fresh speaker. The Vanguard reports that majority of the GAC members were of the opinion that a fresh speaker from Lagos West should be elected, though a new GAC member wanted Obasa, a few GAC members wanted Obasa reinstated. But the Lagos West people said they are not interested in being speaker. They stand with they stand with
Obasano.
no, with the new speaker.
Oh, Miranda.
Yes, they said they stand with that. apology letter. Some GSC members accuse the House leadership of not carrying them and the party hierarchy along in the impeachment of Obasa, following a directive from a top presidential official that the former speaker should be reinstated. Consequently, the lawmakers were told to write a letter of apology to the party hierarchy, which they did. Okay, they wrote a letter of apology. Vanguard gathered that lawmakers from Lagos West wrote another letter accepting Miranda as the speaker and disregarded the zoning push. They expressed their willingness to allow Miranda complete her term. Of the 20 lawmakers from Lagos West, 17 were said to have signed the letter. And so, this paragraph also, you want to note, Obasa is believed to be backed by powerful force within the Tinubu family. You know, I talked about domestic and caucus. It was gathered that Tinubu had mandated GSC to intervene and resolve the matter amicably. Miranda has the blessing of the governor and some traditional rulers in the state. I said she's a princess. At the end of the Monday meeting moderated by Sanwo-Olu, Miranda remained as a speaker, leading to wild jubilation amongst lawmakers and staff of the assembly. The intention to replace Miranda as speaker failed, but it was about senatorial districts balancing for the speakership, which was extensively discussed. I've heard people say that the governor cannot from the governor is from, I think he's from Lagos Central.
Not sure.
I'm not even sure. I'm not sure at this moment as I'm sitting down. But it was said that, oh yes, the two of them can come from Lagos Central. These divisions are not that much strong in Lagos here. The divisions that are strong are the Korodu side, which is the east, and Ekpe side. Otherwise, the others, it's not so much of a big deal. It's not so much of a big deal. Now, they say a soft landing for Obasa is being, and I don't want to know, I wonder what kind of soft landing again. The thing is out in the open. The damage has been done. Why don't you just let it peter away? But they say there's a soft landing. And the GSC members who were looking for a soft landing for the former speaker were surprised when Lagos West members and others rejected the idea of his return as speaker. The lawmakers equally said no to the idea of a new speaker, stressing that they were comfortable with Miranda. And guess what? Solidarity visits have started. You know, I'm a lucky speaker. Which must go. I said female lawyers. I hear a lot of that is going to happen. Female groups. Don't forget, this is the first female speaker, and so this thing has to be handled. It has to be handled carefully. A group of female lawyers under the auspices of female lawyers in politics yesterday paid a solidarity visit to the assembly complex. Miranda on herself, the speaker, Honorable Speaker Mojisola Miranda, stated that she was overwhelmed by the visit, adding that it gave her great pleasure to see women showing her support and solidarity. And I want to quote her. She says, "I know this is going to be the beginning of a wonderful relationship. I can assure you that as you have believed in me, I will not disappoint my gender and Lagos State in general." So that's where we are this morning. My advice to the party is to just let things be. Just don't think of trying to contrive any other thing, and just leave it be before you have a full-blown crisis on your hand. But by Saturday, I'll have a single member of the party here, and by Saturday we'll see how far they have gone. I'm a lucky speaker.
Anytime, about the final appointment.
We don't need appointment. About the one says
I'm a bouncer.
Where we are going in support of the speaker. They can try.
We can try.
I'm glad that me one lady. You can only watch the last one log one speaker. Baba Lati calling man. Politics is funny, I tell you. It's funny.
Well, all these people could have gone on solidarity visit while she was still deputy speaker.
No, this is solidarity visit that is the speaker.
They could have gone.
They probably went when she was deputy speaker. Now you will go when she's the speaker. If tomorrow she becomes something else, if tomorrow she becomes the governor,
we'll go again.
I hear that And I used to live on that street, But what I was told yesterday by my guys on the street is that the whole area is agog.
Wow.
And in Oniru, yes, now.
Wow.
The truth is this: the whatever authority you have over people never lasts forever, and these cracks were already there. Long before the president won they were already there, and even Awolowo, with the emotional hold he had on the people, when he wanted a candidate for governorship, he had to bow down to the demands of the people. They were not the two governors, I think, for Lagos and for Oyo at that time, or for Western State, I think he was, were not his favorites. But he had to. So the Jagaban too has to know that you can't have that hold forever. You can't have that
Here is my angle to this whole jubilation and celebration that you mentioned. Isn't this part of the problems that we have in terms of relationship of the leadership and the followership? In that the leadership, more often than not, always complain that it's the followership that could be blamed for their corruption or corrupt tendencies because of the demands, the undue demands. We celebrated you when you were this. We did this for you when you were that. My grandfather is late now. We want to do burial ceremony and all of that. All of these, because I was wondering, as opposed to celebrating and jubilating, couldn't there have been other ways to show that, okay, so Miranda belonged to your constituency, now we have to demand for this, we have to demand for that? What were they celebrating for?
You will also invited. Now they talk like this. Do you think anybody goes on solidarity visit and comes out the way they have gone in? Hey, yeah, that's what you thought. That's the politics we play.
Is that why we're
everybody is playing this politics of self-interest. I will take the major share. But talking seriously, everybody's interest now, most people's interest now, is in immediate money. It's compounded by poverty. And I've always talked about the theory of beg, borrow, or steal. That's why it's going to be difficult to dislodge her. She has a whole mass of people who depend on her. She won't satisfy all of them, but that just the seeming semblance of somebody who, if I can just meet this person, or go through this or through that, that's what it's all about. Have you ever heard of a group called a group of female lawyers under the auspices of female lawyers in politics? Have you heard that before? What do you think these things are
female
about?
Lawyers in politics.
These groups are put together. It's the kind of politics that we play. Not necessarily for cash, sometimes for positioning, for there will be briefs, there will be all kinds of things. The truth is that people are getting restless. The young boys, so-called young boys that the Jagaban had 20, 30 years ago, now some of them are becoming grandfathers. For the head of the GAC is 88. For how long do you want these people to be subservient to the interests of one man? To put it bluntly, the head of the GAC is 88. Papa 88, Nimo. For how long will they be putting? Sometimes they do have to do these things reluctantly. And I heard that some of them actually want to make a statement now that at this age, yes, in life, or whatever successes we have, we must always know when to stop. When we don't know when to stop, this could not have happened 10, 15 years ago. But the cracks were there. That's where the phrase Baba Sowipe came from. Human beings naturally are restless. Some of them are men of timber and caliber in their own stead. So some of them just won't be. Some of the young cats that he himself created have become very big boys now and will not be dictated to. If I were the president, I'd just let the thing just lie low. If he says, now what can he do to correct anything? Nothing. So it's best to just let it die a natural death and go on and accept it.
Okay, let's go to this next story here, page 10 of the Vanguard newspaper. Incidentally, this is a story I will be treating at 12:30 today.
Okay.
Police arraign suspended Monarch for assaulting septuagenarian.
I'm sure you all saw, a lot of you saw the video of the Monarch who maltreated some ballet, for that matter, lay him flat on the ground. I don't know if he caned him, but got him to kneel down.
It was slapped.
It was slapped. You see, this again is part of what the politicians have created. We've created all kinds of obas and ballets who hitherto had been lying low, some of them not even legitimate. And it's become a business. And the whole idea really is power and resources, land. So we are beginning to create monsters. If you go to the social media, the institute, the traditional rulership, traditional rulership institute, or whatever you call it, the Obaship, has been completely compromised. Completely compromised. And this is what you are going to get. But I am glad that the Ogun State government, and I give the governor kudos, he quickly moved in and did the needful, got the man suspended. I think he should have been removed. But got the man suspended. Maybe they're waiting, if the court declares him guilty, then he will be removed. And he's going to have his day in court. We had things like this before. This just happened to have come to the fore. And I think we need to be careful if we don't want to incur the wrath of the people that we lead. The Obas themselves need to know their limits. The world has changed from the days when you can bully anybody. Those days are gone. In the social media now, once you don't want anybody to know what you are doing, don't do it. If you are not careful, in the comfort of your home, there's somebody with a camera. The latest example is the Gano thing. Mm-hmm. He just said, to be fair to the musician, he just said it casually to a friend of his. Yes, he didn't know he was being filmed. This institution of Obaship institution, we need to be very careful how we handle it. You know, we don't want to create fiefdoms. This Oba is they call him the Olorile of Orile 4. And he assaulted a 73-year-old man. Got him to kneel down, kicked him about, and so on and so forth. So we plead with we know the way these politics go, but don't let us create monsters, all these big chain carrying, big chain wearing fiefdoms that we are creating inevitably.
And it's part of, incidentally, this particular situation is also part of the topics that the children of Ibek Sharifa will be debating this season.
Yeah, kidding.
Because we did a research and we wanted to ask to the children whether they think that, the monarchical system is irrelevant.
Irrelevant or not.
In current day government.
Well, I don't know about relevance, but it's getting discredited by the day. All the guards you had put in it to make it a revered position have been flouted. I saw in social media, I saw one traditional ruler. He had one very nice. I looked at him from he had one very nice drink in front of him, and his 2 wives and whatever. Obas are not supposed to eat in public. Obas are not supposed to be seen at parties. They spray, they put chain, they do all kinds of things. They've gone completely haywire. So the relevance, I don't know, but what I do know is that a traditional ruler that is not careful, given the level of hunger in our country, is putting himself on the line should something erupt. And it has erupted. You remember there was a day some Oba's palace was raided, and one of his colleagues said, now. It should have been able to escape. But the thing is this, in traditional worship, it's very, very straightforward. If you don't do the right thing, you can't get the right thing. If you haven't followed the tradition,
Let's go to the Vanguard. This story on the front page really something to worry about. Alarm as cartels target teenage girls for organ harvesting.
Now. Everybody should listen to it, to this. If you have a young girl, teenage girls, young girls, let's see the kind of problems that they could face growing up. I mean, in society. Outlines of the nefarious lucrative trade in Nigeria. That's the story. How young girls are snared into donating eggs. International Federation of Fertility Societies rail against practice. Victims narrate ordeal. Police bungle reported cases. And NAPTIP canvasses enlightenment campaigns in schools. It's about 3 pages in the Vanguard, and I really recommend that you get find time to read this. It talks about an organ harvesting spree. It says organ harvesting involves illegally removing body parts, often for commercial gain, without the victim's express consent. Under modern slavery laws, a victim cannot consent to exploitation. A recent case highlighted this disturbing practice. What was that? In 2022, 2 teenagers had their ovaries harvested without consent by a doctor at a private hospital in Abeokuta. A lady acted as intermediary. That's what they call the agent. Between the doctor and the girls. The case was reported, but soon ignored. So the story also talks about the Lagos State government, thankfully, through its Domestic and Sexual Violence Agency, has directed the State Police Command to investigate another particular case. Unfortunately, there was no result at the end. I think it's about time I had another of my sessions with Mrs. Vival, and we'll be talking specifically about this. The story talks about how Nigerian law classifies and punishes perpetrators. It also talks about various reactions and international conventions. It's in the Vanguard, and it's on pages 14 and 15. You might want to find time to read that. But please, let us tell our young teenage children, don't fall prey into some of these things that they tell you for little money. Also, girl trafficking, taking them abroad, telling them they're going to Dubai, they're going to this and that. If it was slavery alone for them to do boy, maybe I would even say okay. But you need to see what is going on on the social media, the kind of videos that make the rounds. They're bastardized, they're badly treated, they're damaged. Yes.
Yes, indeed.
I saw your hand. I thought you wanted to call my attention to
No. Let's go to the Metro page of the Punch.
Okay, the Metro page of the Punch, very quickly, we'll go through it. Ibaba is jailed 9 years for sexually assaulting teenager. Police arraign suspended Monarch. You know, you've heard of that. Stray bullet kills woman in Bayelsa cult class. Fear as Monarch begins again. Another Monarch begins demolition in Lagos communities. Fear and panic swept through the Bello Kusumi Lane and Onokoya communities in K2 on Monday and Tuesday as bulldozers and caterpillars rumbled into the areas, reducing homes to rubble, allegedly without warning. Terrified tenants and landlords told the Punch correspondent that they witnessed heavily armed policemen, fierce-looking thugs, and suspected land grabbers enforcing the demolition. Several distraught tenants alleged that the Onikosi of Ikosi, Alamo Onikosi, orchestrated the demolition based on a court order he purportedly claimed obtained from an Ikeja court. That's another. So we hope the government will quickly move in and check what is going on. I thought we had a land use decree, but our traditional rulers, like I said, are getting more powerful by the day.
Let's still check the editorial of the Punch. Policing without restraint.
Yes, this editorial talks about, the problems with the police. By the way, I hope you know that on Monday, I don't know about yesterday, but on Monday the police were all over the place in Lagos supposedly checking for third-party insurance. A policeman who stopped my car that I sent somebody with my car, he ended up also asking for proof of ownership and other things. But on citing who owned the car, they quickly told the driver he could find his way. Of course, it led to exploitation. And nobody can convince me that the IG didn't know that this kind of exercise would lead to exploitation and would damage the reputation of the police. Because from whenever we had always known that you must have some third-party insurance. I don't know why the emphasis now.
I don't know too.
Are you trying to make the boys happy? Because what happened on Monday, at least in Lagos that we saw, it doesn't do the reputation of the police any good. Listen to this one now also. They said that the Nigerian police is in the spotlight again. This is editorial in the Punch. A video of its masked and weirdly dressed officers shooting and scaling a fence on a purported arrest mission makes this impossible to deny. The incident in Delta State is a throwback to the pre-EndSARS days. In the reference video, which has gone viral, 2 officers were seen outside a gated house demanding to be let in. When the apparent house owner refused, asking for a search warrant, they opened fire. Would you believe that? And one of them clambered to the top of the fence, jumped into the compound with his weapon, opened the gate, and let his partner in. This is outrageous. The Punch also says that Olumoyiwa Adijobi, spokesman for the police force, was unmindful of these provisions when he validated the conduct of the old officer, saying the police have the power, he didn't say have the right, have the power to break into any house or place where they are reasonably convinced an offense is being committed. The Punch believes this is indispensable. They go on to say that Adejobi's belligerent posture is at odds with his office. He sounds like a general rallying his troops to war, rather than an image maker interfacing between the force and the public. His utterances embolden the bad eggs in the system. The police should be professional in their statutory work, but must do so with restraint. Adejobi should communicate that to his colleagues. And they give examples of proper policing, so on and so forth.
Indeed. We have to go now, though. We have to go now.
I was just warming up.
If you say we should go now,
who will pay for
or
the fuel?
Who will pay for what?
Fuel. You go with your car.
That one is easy now. It's very easy.
All right.
What's coming up at 9?
No, dear Bumi, today we are having like dear Bumi thing. We're having justice for me of the Justice Court. I want to find out what it takes for you to go there, because dispensation of justice seems to be much, much faster there than if you went to the regular court. So we want to find out how they operate and how our people can access these things in cases of arbitration. Yes.
Interesting. All right, we'll be around for that conversation. In the meantime, we have to step aside now for Kofi Battels to come wrap up with the morning crossfire. Lagos, good morning to you, and thank you for staying tuned.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's